Okay, here we go.
Okay.
All righty. Good evening. Mike Simon here in the Channel 10 Weather Center. Meteorologist Todd Howell. Mike, always good to see you, my friend. Great job. Today we are tracking the snow that has begun here in East Tennessee. So it has begun. We've got light accumulations. Most areas have seen a dusting. Not so much on the roadways, especially treated ones, are wet, but untreated roads, including some of those back roads, driveways, sidewalks, are starting to be snow covered. And the anticipation is for more snowfall to continue overnight. Now, this is the first wave. Light snowfall in general, maybe an inch or two, a couple inches possible overnight and early in the morning. A brief break in the morning, the heaviest snowfall coming tomorrow into the afternoon.
What's interesting to note is that if you look at the cameras back over Nashville,
right,
they're already getting snow on the roads. So it's been happening for a little while,
right,
and that's coming our way. So we may start to notice some on the roads, but hopefully the brine they put on would help out.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. The brine is helping initially. The concern will be as far as more snow moving in, temperatures dropping, still going to probably have some icy and slick spots. And we'll go through and talk about this coming up. And by the way, over on NBC, the football game has just concluded. They'll still have about a 2-minute post game, and we'll be bringing you live full coverage on the night beat coming up in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that full coverage. But the heaviest main snowfall will be picking up during the day tomorrow, especially late morning and especially afternoon. Looking at some of the guidance, snowfall rates could pick up a good bit coming into our Monday afternoon, Mike. So we're going to talk about the potential snowfall. You and I were literally just looking at latest guidance, latest models. Again, some are high and pretty heavy indeed. Others not so much. So we'll have a range, and we'll talk more about that potential snowfall.
Yeah, and because it may accumulate a little more now before it starts to at least lessen for a few hours. It won't completely stop across the area, but lessen for a few hours. Maybe that's why snow totals could be closer to the top of the range that we're showing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's start off. I'll get out of the way. This is a current TDOT SmartWave view, right? 40 paper bill, and you can see the snow falling. There's a help truck passing by. Yeah, the interstates have been treated. They're pretty much still wet, but looks like on some of the shoulders.
Now this is that camera I showed earlier of our tower camera, and I got it zoomed in on the cars to show you, if you look at the lighting, it's still snowing. It's been collecting even on some of the surfaces on the ground, but not necessarily on the warm surfaces like the concrete and the asphalt and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, great point, Mike. When you zoomed in, you can see the snow falling here, some of that snow. Interesting. Right here it's not sticking on the parking lot, but on the edges of the parking lot, right here, and some of that pavement it's starting to stick. Not so much on the road yet, but again, the snow it's only been snowing for maybe a couple of hours. So far, lightly. It's not been snowing that long. And the snowfall, again, overnight tonight, may see a couple of inches or so, but that's kind of laying the groundwork, staying below freezing, and heavier snowfall rates expected tomorrow. And we want to emphasize that, our temperature right now, 29 degrees.
It's been falling.
Wind chill 21. We're going to stay below freezing tomorrow. So hazardous travel is expected, and travel is discouraged for tomorrow for your Monday morning commute, and any time in Monday afternoon and evening, it's going to get even worse. That's when the snowfall is going to pick up, generally speaking, from 11 a.m. to about 8 p.m., roughly, late morning through mid-evening or so, especially centered in that afternoon, early evening. That's when some of the snowfall rates.
And what's good to note, if you travel over the mountains too, maybe you get over toward Bryson City, maybe you're going that direction, or maybe even south or southwest, there could be some freezing rain and sleet.
Yeah.
And that ice, it doesn't matter if you have just a little bit, it's not pleasant to be on the roads like that.
Exactly, Mike. A lot of times, any winter storm, you don't just get, especially in the south, you don't just get snow. Get a hybrid of some light sleet and light freezing rain that may mix into some southern areas, but here in the valley and other areas, that potential for some of those heavier snowfall rates. So I'll let you go ahead and advance through and see what we're looking at here on radar.
Yeah, there's the radar.
Snowfall rates.
Yeah, it's coming in now. I mean, we got a big batch of heavier rain. You can see the purple, the darker.
Yep.
That's what we're noticing. I showed you with the cameras that Todd was pointing out, that the snow is coming down at a pretty good clip right now. Just note that it'll be heavier tomorrow than it is even now.
Exactly. Most is in the valley. It's not so much in the southern valley yet or toward the mountains. It's kind of streaming in from the west-southwest to the east-northeast. And the plateau, it's been snowing as of early this evening, and they've got some good coatings there. So that will continue to kind of press on into the valley. And there's a wider look right there, Mike. I'll let you talk about what our neighbors to the west are seeing.
Yeah, there's the pink I was talking about too. Now it has kind of lessened, but tomorrow it'll probably pick up a little bit. And those southern states, the northern part of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, they tend to get icing in the winter, right? A lot of times.
Exactly. Yeah, and you made a great point. The southern periphery is where a little bit of that warm nose may try to slip up into the Chattanooga, southeast Tennessee, maybe into the mountain of North Carolina tomorrow. They could give a little bit more freezing rain, sleet equation for southern areas, and that may cut down on snowfall totals there. It's not expected to impact snowfall totals the further north, basically on the I-40 corridor. For most of us in East Tennessee, that warm nose is going to stop just to our south, and that's actually what's going to accentuate some of the snowfall rates.
Especially north of 40.
North of 40, yeah, exactly. So that'll kind of lead into what we're talking about with the warnings and the potential mounts, Mike.
Yeah, we have that warning through Tuesday morning, because even if it's going to taper off a little bit tomorrow late, or certainly after sundown, it's still going to be a few pockets of snow, like scattered snow showers that'll eventually move out.
Right.
But it'll take a while, probably not till Tuesday morning.
Right, exactly. And by the way, so this is a winter storm warning. Again, hazardous travel is likely throughout the day Monday, especially as we go in the afternoon and evening. And then overnight, temperatures are going to be plummeting. And so winter storm warning everywhere. Do want to mention this, though. We appreciate you sharing with us on the app right here on Facebook, any of our social media platforms, sharing your pictures and your snow pictures, your snow reports. Let us know what you're seeing in your area, and we'll pass that along. And everybody can also see what you're seeing. So we appreciate you can upload those on our app and right here on Facebook, any of our social media platforms, and just let us know. We'll be glad to talk about that. So take a look at our Futurecast. Here's probably what a lot of folks are wanting to know. What's the timing on all the snow, what we're expected to see?
So I paused it at 6 a.m. And if you noticed at the beginning of that, it showed, and I can back it up again real quick, to show how heavy, this is what's going on now. And that's going to continue, but it starts to break up after midnight, and it'll be widely scattered for a while, but then eventually, and the timing, it could be 3 or 4 hours, it could be, 2 hours, but it'll start to pick up generally around 10 o'clock or so in the morning.
Yeah. There's two waves. This is the first wave that brings us, as Mike said, a couple inches maybe overnight and early in the morning. A little bit of a break during part of the morning, as Mike said, maybe an hour or two, maybe 3 or 4 hours. But then the second main wave, the main part of the storm, will pick back up late morning into the afternoon, and that's when we'll see more of these heavier bands across our region. Before, as Mike said, it starts to gradually taper off. Still going to have a chance for those snow showers before it maybe into some light freezing drizzle late Monday night and more likely early Tuesday morning. But yeah, that's a look at 5
o'clock.
p.m.
And you can see some of the pink showing up. That's what Todd was talking about over in North Carolina, that warm nose trying to get in there. And that's going to be to the south too. And that's why we're going to get a little mix. And as it goes through, you can see it finally starting to break up late. And then we still have a few snow showers through early in the morning before it starts to come to an end. And not to spoil anything very much, but we're looking ahead for Friday too. We have a mix that could happen then.
Have a mix. You'll see this on the 7-day coming up. Another chance, not nearly as much as what we're seeing tomorrow. So not the same system, but another chance for winter weather. More cold air, maybe some more Arctic type air expected. A little quick blast coming our way next weekend. So we'll talk more about that. By the way, we do have a 10 weather impact day for the next 2 days. We're going to have a weather chat amongst us, our group coming up, but we may have to include that into Wednesday. We're starting out Monday and Tuesday, likely 10 weather impact days. Wednesday morning, and Mike, I'll let you talk about this. The forecast temperatures looking ahead. It's going to be frigid coming up.
The core of the Arctic air is going to be slipping into the eastern part of the United States, and we are just going to be catching a bulk of it by about Wednesday morning. Yeah, those are air temperatures. See that? It gets all. Look at Jackson, Mississippi at 12.
Yeah,
that is pretty cold even for them.
4 in Tupelo. We used to like say Tupelo and Tupelo. But anyway, I worked there a long time ago. That's a total side note. But look at those single digits in early Wednesday morning with below zero wind chills. Also.
This is it. These are the wind chills. I started at Tuesday at 1 o'clock because really there won't be as much of a factor, although it's going to be in the 20s wind chills throughout the day tomorrow. But watch this. This is 7 p.m.
Yep.
And they get down in the single digits, but that's not where it stops.
Oh, we got a minus.
There you go. You got a few of those. Yeah, This is over on the up in Greenville, but Maryville, Crossville.
Yep.
0 in Tazewell. That's what it's going to feel like. And the thing is, this is when the kids want to get out, right? In the snow in the morning.
Yeah.
you want to make sure they are well insulated.
Yeah. You may have to look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow, but I mean, but 3, 4, 5 layers. That's okay. Yeah, really, really thick layers. And, it's going to be, this is a multi-day impactful storm. So we've got the snow tonight, 1 round, light, and then heavier snow tomorrow afternoon and evening, then the frigid temperatures, the dangerously low wind chills for the next couple of days and nights. Then we'll see a brief warm-up Thursday. Then again, looking ahead, another chance for some winter weather and cold Friday into fall weekend. But the next 2 to 3 days, basically Monday, Tuesday, and really Wednesday, impactful. Travel's going to be very tough to come by, especially on untreated roadways, and you just need to be prepared. As evidence today, were you at the grocery store today? May have set a record at some local grocery, but
yeah, we showed some shelves looking like 2020 earlier at 10 o'clock. Look, they were bare.
Carts going by and just we were at church this morning. A lot of folks said, "Oh my gosh, the milk, the bread, the eggs, and the TP." Some of that's joking, but in a serious way, a lot of folks were stocking up and in anticipation of maybe not being able to get out for some of those needed supplies, because travel is expected to be hazardous with the coming snow, the frigid temperatures. This is Arctic air. It's different than your regular cold Canadian air, and it's gonna produce a heavy snowpack across many areas. And unfortunately, that's going to leave a mark for the next several
Sure. And one positive note, I didn't think about this till right now, actually, because I was thinking about my freezer full of food out in the garage. Well, I can just put it outside, right? We're not going to be above freezing until Thursday. So if I lose power, it's going outside.
You know what? If you need overflow. Now, what you just said, we hope, it's a good point. We hope we don't have power outages to deal with. This is a snowfall event. It's not a high water content snowfall. We may get a little bit of light ice and not impactful expected, but nonetheless, we get, and did you show snowfall amounts? We can go back.
No, I can go ahead and do that.
I don't know if we did. We'll go ahead and show that, sorry.
Yeah, I showed another, this is our other camera that shows building on top of the buses there. Kids don't have to worry though. They're not going to school tomorrow anyway.
Great point. Yeah, snow shells.
Let me get that. Here it is.
The point I was going to make on that, go ahead, Mike, is the heavy snow, the impactful snow. If we see these amounts, some wind, there could be some power outages just from the weight of some of that snow and the wind, and hopefully not from any cold. We had to experience that a couple of years ago, but hopefully the power stays on, stay warm, but be prepared, okay? Blankets, a lot of warm clothing, everything, in case power does go out in the coming days.
But
how we can keep warm.
See this 8 inches here?
Yeah.
The last time we had more than 8 inches was 1993.
Is 1993?
March 13th.
Yes. March 13th, 11.7, I think. Now, in that particular day, it was a Friday night, the 12th, into the Saturday. I wasn't here yet. I would have loved to be. I was in Mississippi. We got 2 inches and brutally cold air, but that was it. But I will say this, 1996, January, I slept on a cot right over in
did you?
Ed Rupp's old traffic. It used to be our weather center. We had thunder snow, and we had 10.5 inches of snow total. That particular day, in one day, I think we had 7.5, because I think we had 2.5 or so the night before. But anyway, so to your point, this potentially, if we get that higher in, what Mike just said, could be the most we've seen potentially since '93. In one day.
In one day.
Just in one day. It's a technicality. All right.
We live on technicalities.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Hey, us meteorologists.
Yeah, a high temperature could be at midnight, not in the afternoon, that kind of thing. So.
That's it.
Okay.
Hey, yes, thank you, Mike. We're going to have a full update coming up in just a few moments. They're wrapping up on NBC now, and just doing a little post-game coverage there. We're standing by. We're going to reset the graphics, the maps. And a quick point just before we go, we are looking at some latest guidance that does give us the higher end of this range. So very aware of that, and so there's the potential for significant snow already with a 4 to 8.
Do you want
that's
me?
a range, right? You could
You want to
the 4,
see
you could
that?
see the 8.
Do you want to see that model?
Somewhere in between.
Which one was it?
That, yeah, that's it.
The Euro?
Yeah. Oh, you were going to show. Yes. That the E1. Yeah, that's kind of this is a lower end model.
Lower end.
For example, thank you.
And then here is
looking at a lot of different model data taking account. So it's why we provide a range of the possibilities. We're just showing different models. Again, take this with a grain of salt. This is just a model forecast. It's not our forecast, but Mike, it's showing the possibilities.
Yeah, and we look at all these different things, and we talk about amongst ourselves. We look at all kinds of different things too, and then we come to a consensus on what we believe really is reality.
Right.
Because if you see all of them together,
Yeah.
and you see them every 12 hours, they vary so much.
Yeah, they could. We can go back to our
snow total.
Just kind of show our range. Even one that was on the higher end, higher than what we're showing you here. There's a couple models that's showing higher than the range we're showing here. That particular model, kind of just the most recent update, just came back down, still in the upper end of that range. But just to give you an idea, the guidance fluctuates. Again, a lot of modeling, a lot of data. It's a fluid situation, but when you add it all up and take into account a lot of data, we feel like this is what we feel like right now is a close approximation of what can be expected.
Now,
yeah, we're a minute. We're a minute away, so we'll be starting up Channel 10 coming up in just a little bit. So you can go ahead and click on Channel 10 and watch us coming up in just a minute. Right?
Yeah, we'll see you then. I guess are we gonna stay on? Or are we gonna continue to just go right to?
Yeah, we'll go
the
right up in
newscast?
about 10 seconds. Or
Okay.
So we still got a few seconds. To
All
check.
right. Well,
go right ahead.
one thing I wanted to point out too is a lot of people ask, what's going to be like in my town?
Yeah.
Well, we have to get ranges because it can vary on terrain.
Right.
You have altitude differences. You have different types of terrain that may be close to you that can alter it. Plus, the snow ends up coming in bands a lot of times. And if you're just not in that band, you won't get as much. If you are, you're going to get more than maybe your neighbor a few miles down the road.
Yeah. It's no different than rain. I mean, we have rain. I mean, some areas get 3-4 inches of rain sometimes. Some areas get an inch or two. You can have those. Same thing. Just varied amounts. All depends on where those bands set up, et cetera. So yeah, we got a full update. Let's go ahead and show a radar, maybe something, Mike, and we'll kind of give an idea. We've got more of the snow that's going to continue to come in overnight. It's going to start to taper off tomorrow morning, but that's the expected lull between this first lighter round tonight and the heavier round coming our way tomorrow. Decent snowfall with a little bit larger flake size coming into our region right now.
Especially
and again, we're below freezing.
Loudoun County and Knox County too, especially.
Exactly. So we're below freezing. The ground is chilled, already a dusting, and on untreated road surfaces, you can expect snow-covered roads overnight and in the morning with more to come tomorrow. So again, a 10 weather impact day for your Monday and Tuesday for the snow, then the cold, and winter storm warning in place. All right, Mike Simon, thank you so much. Stay tuned. 10 News Night Beat is coming up now.
Coming up on the 10 News at 11, we're taking a look at how the city of Knoxville is working to make sure everyone stays safe ahead of this week's winter weather.
And we're watching the snow already accumulate on some of the grassy surfaces, even on some of the parking lot areas, and of course on all the cars that are parked out there. More snow is yet to come, and the heaviest is tomorrow. We'll be back to let you know those snow totals coming up in just a few minutes.
And we are live in Crossville as snow starts coming down in the plateau. We have everything you need to know, the latest we're seeing here on the ground, plus what safety officials want you to know coming up.
Ten News in High Definition is sponsored by Premier Family of Dealerships. 10 News on WBIR starts now.
Good evening, and thank you so much for watching the 10 News Night Beat. I'm Shay Smith. Tonight we are continuing our winter weather coverage. Fernando Garcia Franciscini is live in Crossville. We'll chat with him in a bit. Right now I'm going to send things out to Chief Meteorologist Todd Howell, who is on the weather porch with at what looks snow is impacting Knoxville, right, Todd?
That's right. This is not a Hollywood studio. You are looking live out on the Channel 10 weather porch. We're below freezing. Snow is coming down. Tell you what, we got almost about a quarter to a half inch right here on the our Channel 10 deck surface. Yeah, we have a good coating right here on the wood surface. The parking lot's still wet, but starting to see it stick to some of those untreated roadways on the edges. And the concern is going to be for hazardous travel tonight and continuing into tomorrow morning. All right, I just came out. Yeah, we're definitely want to be bundled up, put on the hood because it's snowing pretty good outside right now. So let's talk about what's happening. Mike Simon is back in the Weather Center. Again, the snowfall has continued to fall across the region tonight. We're going to be seeing that snow continue with a couple inches possible and even heavier snowfall coming tomorrow. I'll send it back inside to you.
Thank you very much, Todd, for that. And he's coming up later to talk about the snow totals, too, and what Futurecast has for us and the timing of this storm system. First of all, though, thank you very much, Todd, for that. I appreciate being out there in the snow. Weather headlines are showing you that the wintry weather already has caused some snow to accumulate. It's just not so much on the roads because they've been treated. Cars have been going by pretty good, but it may not last unless they get treated again. So just be aware that tomorrow, especially when it piles up more, you probably don't want to venture out. You want to wait, or if you have to go out, just make sure you have the proper things with you in case you do get stranded. Scattered snow showers are going to continue tonight, although they'll be more spotty later on. Then heavy snow will pick up, and that'll cause those roadways to be worse, and it'll continue through the evening too. Wind chills are going to dip down Wednesday morning to below 0, so this is definitely a bona fide winter push. 28 is the current temperature. It's fallen again. At least it just feels like 28 because at the time the wind was only about 3 miles an hour. But when it gets up to about 5 to 10, it certainly feels colder. Here's your radar. Snow batches. This is kind of a second batch. We had one little first batch come in, and there's more where that came from back to the west. The first initial one kind of got west Knoxville, a little bit of a dusting here and there, and then now you notice some moving in toward Oak Ridge, Lenore City, and even downtown Knox County. As we widen the view, there's a huge field of snow that continues to expand back to our west. And that's what we're going to be dealing with. That's why we still continue to have a winter storm warning that lasts through Tuesday morning. We anticipate even few snow showers through then. Temperatures will slip down tonight into the 20s, and we won't warm back up above freezing tomorrow. Be back with more and your totals and your 7-day forecast in a few minutes, Shay.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Well, as we continue to track the snow, we want to make sure you have the latest information. Download the 10 News app to stay up to date. It's free to use and download in your app store. There you can find the latest news, headlines, and the latest in the forecast. Fernando joins us now live from Crossville tonight. Fernando, what are you seeing out there right now? I see a lot of snow. It looks like a winter wonderland.
Hey Shay, it does kind of look like a winter wonderland here in Crossville. Good evening. So we got here late afternoon, early evening, and I would say that right before 7 p.m. we started seeing those flurries, which have now turned into snow. You can probably see behind me the parking lot of the hotel where we are stationed at is pretty much completely covered right now in snow. And as you can see, also like the cars here to my side have already started seeing some accumulation of snow throughout the night. And like it is very important, the message that emergency personnel and safety officials here in Cumberland County and Crossville are trying to get out is do not be on the roads if you do not have to. If you absolutely have to, make sure that you're taking it slow on the roads. But you can see that snow has certainly started falling here in the plateau, and we will be stationed here throughout the night. So we'll have the latest update tomorrow morning on 10 News Today. But for now, Shay, I'll go ahead and send things back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Fernando. Go inside and get warm. Well, as you've been hearing from our weather team, the Knoxville area is expecting a few inches of snow tomorrow, and it's already started. 10 News reporter Ryan Connors tells us how the city is planning to keep the roads and people safe.
Knoxville Public Service crews have been brining the roads all Sunday, preparing for the snow that's expected to come on Monday.
So our public service crews have been out here since 4:30 in the morning, getting ready to brine all of our level 1 and level 2 streets.
Mayor Kincannon says that the focus is being placed on those who are unhoused during the storm to make sure they have a place to keep warm.
Need to take care of safety for people who are moving around the city, but also for people who do not have homes. So we have this year, for the first time, thanks to the Joint Office of Housing Stability, we are coordinating efforts with faith-based organizations.
Chad Weth has been in charge of the brining efforts on Sunday and says what scares him most is the expected frigid temperatures.
I think the biggest thing is the cold temperatures, right? I've been doing this a while, so if you get a lot of snow and it's 30 degrees, it's not as bad as getting a little bit of snow and it's 10 degrees. So, I mean, once the weather gets this cold as it's predicted to be, it's really hard to get rid of it.
He says that the preparedness that's been going on since November should help maintain the first few hours of snowfall in Knoxville. Then it's about keeping up with the snow.
What brine does is basically lowers the freezing point of water. So the first inch or so that falls on the roads hopefully will melt away pretty quickly with the brine. And then after that, once the snow really starts to stick, we'll have to go to more traditional salt methods.
Knoxville's main mission is to keep everyone safe this winter storm.
We don't want anybody to be outside in this cold weather.
Reporting from Knoxville, I'm Ryan Connors.
Well, check this out. We're going to take a look at the shelves at the Food City on Clinton Highway. This was within the last few hours. Now, bread is one of the most popular items flying off the shelves, along with bread and milk and eggs, of course, ahead of this incoming winter weather. Now, we want to see your snow pictures. If you spend any time outside in the snow or inside where it's nice and warm, we want to see what you're seeing. You can upload those in our free 10 News app. Now, there will be warming shelters throughout the region. Here in Knoxville and Knox County, there are 3 sites set up inside of churches. Knoxville Mayor India Kincannon talked about the weather headed our way and the importance of warming stations. She says she is thankful for the churches who are opening their doors for those in need of a warm place to stay.
We are very grateful for the faith community for stepping up, as they always do. But this year, it's in a more coordinated manner. They will all be open. All those warming centers will be open. And the 3 churches are also okay with accepting pets. So people shouldn't stay outside just because they have a pet.
The warming shelters are looking for donations as well right now. Knox Area Rescue Ministries is looking for sleeping bags, bedding, and toiletries. Here in Knoxville, you can go to the Cokesbury Church on Kingston Pike. It's open from 7 at night until 8 in the morning. Vestal United Methodist Church on Ogle Avenue opens at 5 in the evening and closes at 10 in the morning. And Magnolia Avenue United Methodist Church is open between 5 p.m. until 10 a.m. as well. All of the churches, though, will close their doors for the night at 8. Well, right now, AAA is reminding people to stay safe on the roads during this weather event. Now, if you find yourself stranded, they suggest staying inside of your car. That will give you shelter and will prevent possible incidents where you could be in danger. Don't leave your car running. This is so your gas lasts longer. AAA also suggests avoiding driving on the median or on the shoulders so they can be kept clear for first responders. And if you have an electric vehicle, make sure you preheat your car so the battery lasts longer. You also should make sure you have your car stocked. AAA suggests having an emergency kit with phone chargers, blankets, first aid kits, flashlights, gloves, and coats. Also, make sure you have water and snacks. You must also always drive at a safe speed and leave braking room for the car in front of you. Now, if you get stuck in snow or ice, make sure to straighten out the wheel and go slow. You can add sand or cat litter under the wheels to avoid spinning, and when in doubt, of course, just slow it down. Well, tomorrow is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It is also would have been the minister and civil rights leader's 95th birthday.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Now that was part of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. He gave that speech on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. on August 28, 1963, and it's his most famous speech. Dr. King was assassinated on April 4th, 1968 at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis. Since his death, many have honored his legacy in different ways. In D.C., elementary school students have recited his speech in the same spot, word for word, for the last 20 years. Some even gave their own speeches. Focused on two topics Dr. King touched on the most: teamwork and gun violence.
What makes gun violence stand out is that it is the top cause of death for children in Washington, D.C. Dr. King stood up and spoke out to help Black community progress into what it is now. I would like to continue his legacy by changing my community to come together against gun violence.
Professors at Howard University say these students are looking at history with fresh eyes and that there is hope for the future. Well, still to come, Dalton Connect's performance on Saturday not only continued his road success, but also drew comparisons to a future NBA Hall of Famer.
SEC game in a row, the Lady Vols were down by double digits at halftime, but this time they weren't able to come back and erase a 19-point deficit against Texas A&M. It was the team's lowest scoring matchup so far this season in the 71-56 loss. Jewel Spears' first three on the day gave Tennessee its largest lead of the entire game, which was only 4 points. A Rakia Jackson turnover led to a driving layup from Texas A&M Sahara Jones to tie up the score early at 6 points apiece. And from then on, the Aggies remained in the lead. A mixture of turnovers, self-inflicted mistakes, and missed shots generated Tennessee's loss. The team made 22 of its 60 field goal attempts, which is the worst they've shot so far against an SEC opponent. Sarah Puckett tried to speed up the comeback with a 12-point second-half performance, but it wasn't enough against a smothering A&M team that ranks 4th in the nation in scoring defense. Head coach Kelly Harper said the team knew what they were in for, but they couldn't execute it in the end.
No, this is exactly what we expected. No surprises. You know, they're going to come out. They're going to be physical. They're doing a great job on the boards, and they're going to guard you. And again, it is stingy. You just don't get anything easy.
Jackson serves as the backbone of this team, but against the Aggies, she struggled on both ends. In the 5 games she played coming off of her injury, she was averaging a little over 20 points and 9 rebounds per game. On Sunday night, she went 5 of 15 from the field, scoring 10 points in total and notched just 1 defensive board. Harper said it's surprising when Jackson has that kind of performance.
We were so accustomed to her playing great, you know, and so when she misses a shot, we're all surprised. And you know, she looked human today. She's a good player. We got to get her back on the boards. She wasn't in on the boards as much as she needed to be.
Over to the men's side of things, Tennessee's comeback win against Georgia was fueled by a monstrous Dalton Knecht, who has recently escaped a slump he's been stuck in during UT's last 3 home games. In a game where the Vols lost a 14-point lead, Knecht saved the day and put up 36 points in the 85-79 conference win and scored 20 just in the second half. Knecht's 5th three-pointer on the day right here gave Tennessee a lead that they held on to with less than 2 minutes left in the game. The 5th-year guard scored 16 of Tennessee's final 25 points, while also picking up 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and a block. On the road, Knecht is averaging 31.3 points per game, compared to about 12 points at home or at other neutral sites. Head coach Rick Barnes says it's all about the mindset with Knecht, and it's not something he hasn't seen before in a player. He also saw it in Kevin Durant when he coached the now NBA star 18 years ago at Texas. Barnes compared the 2 players post-win on Saturday afternoon.
Mindset, and again, that's a good. It's a mindset where, you know, short memory. Not afraid of the moment, willing to go make the big play, and if they don't, they've got a great ability to bounce back.
Not only did Barnes compare the 2, but Kevin Durant also complimented Knecht on Instagram after his performance, saying in all caps, he's a dog. Also, fun fact, Katie is DK's favorite NBA player. See what I did there? We love to see that Rick Barnes connection. Next up, the Vols return back home after a 2-game road stretch. They're set to host Florida at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Emily Ray. We are taking a live look at Paper Mill Drive. You can see some people out and about, but you can really see how thick those snow flurries are getting. Over to the right, you can see it looks like someone has pulled over with their hazards off on. So if you are driving tonight and really anytime tomorrow, you want to drive slow, as we've been saying, and be very, very careful because it can get very slick and dangerous out there. So turning back to the forecast with winter storm warning in effect, Mike, what can East Tennessee expect into the night and tomorrow?
Well, Shay, we're going to continue to have snow showers. They'll taper off a little bit. The coverage won't be as broad tonight, but then it's going to pick up tomorrow, and we're going to get some heavy amounts too. 10 weather impact day for tomorrow and for Tuesday, and we may have to extend it into Wednesday because it's going to be brutally cold to start the morning. Don't forget about your pets either. If you have them outdoors, bring them inside if you can, or make sure they have liquid water. You don't want, you know, it'll freeze and they need something to drink. So just be sure to break that up or get some fresh water for them too. Market Square cam showing snow already accumulated on some of the surfaces, especially right there below the trees. And we even got a little bit of dusting now beginning to take shape on the pavement. So it's been snowing, for a couple of hours now in many cases, and already picked up about a ½ an inch. So we could get some more tonight before it tapers off or at least lessens and then picks back up again. Of course, we'll have those snow totals come up later. 29 degrees, our current temperature. It's been dropping. We're at 23 is what it feels like. That wind picked up to 6 miles an hour, so it makes it feel a little chillier too. Temperatures all around have slipped down into the freezing zone, if not below. Look how cold it is in Crossville, Jamestown, 20 degrees. Been snowing out in Crossville. They already have maybe an inch on the ground, and then more back toward Nashville, and that's the direction it's coming from. Tonight, our forecast lows get down to the mid-20s. We have teens back over the plateau. And it's going to get a lot colder than that. Tomorrow we'll probably have a high temperature close to freezing but most of us won't make it above that. You can see we have 20s and low 30s across the area, and temperatures, as they're going to be at freezing or below for several days to come, you definitely need to make sure that you bundle up and have plenty of layering, the gloves, the scarves, and just get ready for this. Winter storm warning continues through Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock. Here's radar, big batch of snow, and if you look closely at some of the darker purple colors, that's where it's snowing a little bit heavier. So the batch that came into Knox County has moved on a little bit more toward the east, and then we have a few other batches back toward the west and a huge field of snow back west that continues to stream across the state. And we are going to have it pick up because that cold air is going to rush in and help cause the snow to increase. We have upper level winds that are going to increase over the top of us that also cause the snow to increase. So we could have heavy downpours at times with the snow. Temperatures coming down. Yeah, we'll be about 31 degrees tomorrow, but then watch how much they drop. The core of the Arctic air is just slipping right down the East Coast, and we are in the brunt of it. Look how cold it gets even more to the south, but this isn't over yet. It drops more Wednesday morning. Down in the single digits. Wind chills are anticipated to be lower than that. Shouldn't be much of a problem tomorrow, though it will feel colder with the wind. But when the temperatures drop down that cold, we're going to have wind chills down below 0 in some cases, and certainly down in the single digits. So 25 degrees will be overnight temperature tonight with scattered snow showers. It'll be a lull, but it won't last that long. And then tomorrow, snow heavy at times, especially around 10 o'clock and later. And Todd Howell, our chief meteorologist, is going to have that coming up here in just a few minutes of the timing and snow totals. Afterwards, temperatures do warm. We start off at 13 Thursday, but we go up to 40. However, another reinforcing shot of that cold air is going to reach us over the weekend, Shay.
All right, thanks, Mike. AAA also wants to make sure your home is ready for this winter weather. They suggest doing this as soon as possible to minimize any damage and high repair costs. Some things you can do to protect your home: remove hoses from outside faucets, replace or repair weather stripping around windows and doors, and know where your water shutoff valve is in case of an emergency. Now, if you do see damage, document it and get in touch with your home insurance company to know what they do and do not cover.
And Chief Meteorologist Todd Howell will be up just a little bit, and we're going to discuss the timeline of the snow, when the heavier snow is going to arrive, when it was going to end, and also how much we could potentially get. It's coming up in a few minutes. Stick around.
We continue to monitor the winter weather as crews have already started prepping roadways, and they will continue to do so. Mike and Todd have some areas already started seeing some snow.
Yeah, Shay, no doubt. I mean, Mike just took us through the forecast, showed us the radar. Mike, you and I wanted to revisit this view right here. We were looking at it like, okay, that's snowing pretty good. Paper mill and, you know, slow traffic. I mean, snow's coming down. Let's talk about how much more snow we're going to see tonight and how much total snow could we see. This is actually the first of 2 rounds. This is the lighter round tonight. As you just talked about, the heavier round's going to be coming in tomorrow afternoon into the evening. So here's what we're looking at as far as our futurecast model. Again, tonight, some light snow. As Mike was talking about, it's going to start to taper off a little bit into the early morning hours. May get a few hours break, not a lot. Not a lot. And then it's going to start to pick back up as we go later tomorrow morning. This is 10 a.m. And then once we go into the afternoon, and you can kind of see some of those heavier bands moving through, those concentrated bands are expected. A little bit of a warm nose toward the mountains in Southern Valley may bring a little bit of sleet and freezing rain, cut down on snowfall totals there, maybe a little bit. But this looks to be a significant heavy snowfall event for many areas and most areas in East Tennessee. So here's a look at what we're expecting. Again, we'll start with the darker shade of blue in the valley, parts of the plateau, and back to the west. 4 to 8 inches possible, and it looks, most modeling is showing some heavy snowfall. Now, that's a range of 4, possibly 8. Some guidance has been a little bit heavier than that. 4 to 7 possible in the plateau. A little bit lower in the Southern Valley, 2 to 4, and 3 to 5 inches in far southern areas, with a little bit of sleet and freezing rain, maybe cutting down totals slightly. But area-wide, Mike, it looks like significant snowfall and hazardous travel tomorrow into tomorrow night.
Man, with temperatures getting that cold too, if any of it does melt with a little sunshine coming back out, it's going to refreeze.
Yeah.
And especially Wednesday morning, we're getting down so bitterly cold.
Yeah.
You know.
10 weather impact day, Monday and Tuesday, and possibly into Wednesday. So stay home, keep it right here on Channel 10, and we'll keep you updated.
We'll be right back with the
One last check of the weather, guys.
Yeah. All right, Mike?
Yeah, not only do we have a 10 weather impact day for the next 2 days, we also have that winter storm warning. It's going to last through Tuesday morning. And Wednesday morning is going to be probably the most brutally cold, 6, and it'll feel like below 0. And then, Todd, we have something going on this weekend. It looks like another cold snap.
I mean, it could be another couple inches and another Arctic air mass the following weekend. We'll focus on that later. But, you know, heavy snow picking back up later tomorrow, especially afternoon and evening. Hazardous travel likely the next couple of days, nights, and maybe that third day into Wednesday could be another 10 weather impact.
Yeah, and I haven't seen this kind of snow in a while either. So
it's been a while.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for keeping an eye on the weather for us. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be sure to keep you updated online and on air. Have a good night.